The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, is pushing for stronger collaboration among transport agencies to boost safety across air, sea, and road sectors. Towards this end, a draft regulation was recently unveiled by the NSIB at the just concluded Multimodal Transportation Stakeholders Workshop. It seeks to leverage technology and harmonize frameworks in enhancing transport safety. To speak further on this is NSIB's Director General, Captain Alex Badeh. Glad to have you join us.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So talk to us about this collaboration between transport agencies to boost safety across all modes of transportation.
Well, it is a watershed for us at the NSIB because when I took over office in 2023, part of what I found was the NSIB being a fairly new agency. There was a bit of resistance from all the other modes. But where we are now with the multimodal stakeholders workshop that we just had, we saw, willingness and collaboration. We had the MD of the Railway Corporation, the MD of NIWA as well, and they came there and they gave their full support. Of course, with the regulations, you call them draft regulations. Legally speaking, they're a draft, but we're pretty much done. They've had this for days, and we're just waiting for their inputs. And I think within the next 30 days, they become full regulations. But we do have collaboration across all modes now, and we'll be going into the road as well after this.
So what does the regulation particularly intend, and what is it talking about?
Well, it's, again,
how it's going to work.
Before you investigate anything, there must be rules around that thing. So for the air, which the NSIB came from, we're well versed in the air. So we have air regulations, but with investigating other modes, maybe these other stakeholders might have had their regulations or their ways of doing things, but they're not really investigators. We're the investigators, they're regulators, so they can't really investigate these things. They become judge, jury, and executioner in their own case. Whereas we, it's our expertise, we're here to investigate accidents. And with aviation being, of course, the most regulated, or the heaviest regulated industry in the world when it comes to transport, it's only right, only fitting that we are able to do these things. So these regulations start a framework for how to investigate these accidents. They give everybody a guideline, especially us at the NSIB. And it guides all the regulators as well on how these investigations are going to be conducted by us. And it gives them confidence, and of course the public too. Because we can't start investigating accidents without, again, like I say, these regulations. There must be a book, a guideline for all our investigations.
We didn't have that before?
We did not have that. Most people were investigating based on their own. It wasn't, I don't want to say they were well thought out, especially with modern times. For example, if you look at rail or maritime, they don't really have like a family assistance program. In Nigeria, have an accident, people die. We tell them sorry, pat on the back, oh, we sympathize and we move on. But in aviation, there's actually a family assistance program that provides mental help and pushes for compensation where it's due. So we've basically taken this into the rail and maritime as well.
That's interesting. I know it's usually said that prevention is better than cure. I know you're talking about investigation, but will this involve or entail trying to stop this accident? I know that, things will happen, but will this, in a way, involve trying to stop them before it occurs or before they occur?
Well, of course, that's all we want at the NSIB, but like you say, accidents do occur. And when these accidents occur, you learn, lessons learned from your investigations. So when an investigation is done properly, it ensures that an accident does not reoccur. Where it's not done properly, it happens again because it was a shoddy investigation. You probably didn't get to the root cause or the real root cause, and you just put something out there that might not be the fact. So typically from all these investigations, once our safety recommendations are put out there, most of the time once they're adopted, these accidents don't occur. So if you see an accident reoccur after a safety report on that issue, a comprehensive one was put out, then it's because it wasn't adopted. So our investigations aim to prevent reoccurrence of all these accidents and incidents.
And like I read now, it involves sea, road transport, maritime, and all that. So would that also include, normal transportation drivers we have on the road and everything, all the interstate travels. Would that
Oh, yes.
would that include them, and how would you work it out with them in order to be able to not just investigate, like you said, but like get compensation, so these people can begin to be more careful when they drive and when they transport lives of people?
Okay, so with what we just did, we did rail and maritime.
Okay.
Road, of course, being the largest major source of transport in Nigeria. We're already in talks with road safety. We have MOUs with them. We're working with them, and we're working on frameworks for that and the regulations for road. So we've not unveiled the road regulations as of yet, but of course, that is the aim, is to get there. Of course, that is more complex, which is why it's taken us so long, because it involves so many stakeholders. We're going to have to do even more workshops before the unveiling of this. We have to talk to the stakeholders. NURTW, for example. We're talking to road safety, the state emergency management agencies. There must be a framework on how to address these things. And then I must warn too, the NSIB cannot investigate every road accident. So this is where investigations, certain things will be ceded to the states, to the road safety, and then the major ones where there are mass casualty events, most likely is where we will come in, which is typically how it's done all over the world. Because like I said, you have state emergency management agencies, you have this road safety, you have like LASMA in Lagos. So part of that, certain investigations should be their jobs. But when you have things like tankers and all that, these mass fires, things like that, we will come in.
So have you started involving the states already?
Road safety for now.
And when, and when are you going to do this workshop you talked about?
There'll be more workshops.
For the roads.
For the roads. I don't want you to back me into a corner here, but this year there will be something. Now these are stakeholder workshops.
Because like you said, this is the major mode of transport.
It is the major mode of transport.
So more attention should be paid to.
We are paying attention, but again, you take low-hanging fruits, to be effective. Again, we're multimodal. We got multimodal in 2022. So we had to tackle the low-hanging fruit before we go for the major one. So road, of course, is at the forefront of it. We've heard the calls and the clamor for it, and we just decided, let's focus on this and let's get this out the way. And once this is done, we're going to focus on the road. Remember, we're a very small agency. We're trying to grow. We're trying to build more expertise. We have lots of expertise in aviation, and we're, training ourselves in all these modes.
All right, quickly, before I let you go, you talked about leveraging technology and harmonizing frameworks in enhancing transport safety. What frameworks are you talking about harmonizing here, and how would you leverage on technology?
Well, first thing, it will be the collaborative investigation. So the first thing is you want to collaborate. To get anything done, we must collaborate. For technology, it's data-driven. We need data. That's just a fact of it. As much as it's one thing to talk technology.
Data
like we
is
have
one challenge that we seem to have.
That is the issue, and that is the major issue. Data is what you need for you to effectively identify these problems. We need data. So this is where road safety has these apps. We have an app and a website. A new website for accident reporting. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. We need that data first. We have what's called cars built from 2015 and up. Most cars have an event data recorder. And we actually have, right now, we have the capacity to download that so we can tell what happened in the last few moments leading to an accident in a car. So it's things like that we're going to do. But before we do that, again, the regulations must go around that because there are legal aspects to these things, invasion of privacy and whatnot. So that is what we're working on. But first thing is data. It's collaboration for us, then data. So now we're getting the collaboration. We need that data so we can predict and we can see and where to focus on as well.
All right. Nice speaking with you, Captain Alex Badeh, Jr., NSIB's Director General.
Thank you very much. Thank you for
having me. All right.